What's up guys, Chasing Lonely here for episode number 22 of From Grove to Glory, and today we are at round 21, the final round of our first season, and we're at Doha, which is in Qatar, I guess, where acceleration, low speed corners and top speed are going to be useful. We're not expecting any inclement weather, we're expecting some decent tyre wear and some big old fuel burn, so this is going to be very interesting. In terms of the championship, Fernando Alonso sits at 7th, and he's 9 points behind Danny Ricciardo, so definitely looking to jump himself into 6th. Kubica sits 10th, 4 points behind Graham Rahal, will definitely be looking to get himself into 9th if he can. In the team standings, we are currently sitting 23 points behind Red Bull and 34 points ahead of Renault. So all to play for today, all to race for. In terms of developments, nothing much is happening. Basically, at the moment we are just working on improving our parts to get them to max hype. In fairness, because we can't use that in today's race, I might just get rid of that and see if we can speed things up a bit. Yeah, we're just trying to build up all of these parts to be all of our best potential parts to be as good as they can possibly be. Because that is going to help us with development for next season. That's very, very much the plan, and that'll be what we're going with. Ideally, I'm just going to quick check, make sure I fit the right parts, because I just had a weird feeling I may have a part fitted that I don't want fitted. That one should definitely be fitted to a car. In fact, that one's going to be fitted to Fernando Alonso's car before I forget pre-race. And is it? No. Let's do it the other way around. Try and give Fernando the best parts. Just make sure we've got everything else in order. That looks pretty good. What's these bonuses for? Fuel efficiency for that one. And that's going to give us extra acceleration. Cool. Okay. Right, so, yeah, we're in Doha. That's the plan for today. Nothing too fancy. There's nothing else to report on. I'm going to keep designing new parts. We're waiting for a few things on the HQ, nothing important. I'm going to keep designing parts as best I can. In fact, I've just realised I can design parts. Where are we worst off? Probably acceleration. Just to try and get as many good parts as we can. We'll do acceleration because I think it's quicker than. Let's do a suspension. Right, we're going to do a quick suspension build because that's going to be important, so we'll do that one. Doesn't really matter about risk levels because that's not going to come in until next season anyway, so it should be fine. We'll add that. That should be a good add. What else we got? Plus 50, plus 30, and then plus 60, plus 30 to max. Is that better? 1022, ooh, 1104, or that's looking like being our best build. Let's just make sure I've not missed anything out, because there's bound to be something that we can do to make things better. I think that's going to be our best engine build. Let's just have a quick check, make sure there's nothing I should be adding to boost anything. That looks pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna put this part into development, because it should come in just before the changeover period and thus be eligible for the next race. That's my plan. Hopefully, just anything I can do to build new parts that will be ready for next season is going to be good. We're not lacking for money, so we'll hopefully see the best come out of this. But today, we're going to go for 10th and above as always, and we're going to try and get something good out of this. We're looking at medium tyre wear, so you'd expect 5s and 5s and 5s to be the way forward. I say 5s and 5s and 5s. I think maybe what we'll do is 753. That could be a good balance because I've got a hard to practice on. That should work out alright, I think. So let's do that, and I will come back as always after quali and practice. So stay tuned. Okay, race day is upon us, and we've done okay in qualifying, to be honest. We have got Robert Kubica in a shocking 9th place, made it to Q3 for the first time in Christ knows how long. ahead of Alonso in 11th, which gives us an interesting strategy game today. We're going with the race trim and medium tyres knowledge for Kubica because he's going to spend longer on mediums than on softs. We're going with softs and race trim on Alonso's because he can, in theory, do, I think, just two soft stints. The softs, it reckons at the moment, will do 18 to 20 laps. We've got a 42 lap race. If I stretch the stints, depending on the ambient temperature, the track temperature, which looks like it's 17, 16 degrees, it's quite low. Theoretically, it becomes possible for us to do a 2 stops on softs, and if not, we're just going to get the benefit early and then switch to the mediums because the hard tyres won't go the whole distance, unfortunately. Kubica definitely is going to be switching from softs to mediums a little bit earlier, and we've dropped a couple of laps of fuel just to lighten the car up. Strategy wise, we're just going to keep things on neutral, hope for the best. So let's look at the grid, see what's going on, and then we'll get into the race. So Hamilton starts on pole next to Bottas, Leclerc, then Vettel. Then on the third row we've got Max Verstappen in the Haas next to Graham Rahal, his replacement at Red Bull. Then we've got Grosjean and Gasly in row 4. Row 5 is Kubica and Sergio Perez. Row 6 is Alonso and Carlos Sainz. That battle of the ages will resume. Then Lando Norris and Giovinazzi on row 7. Row 8 sees us joined by Danny Kvyat and Nico Hulkenberg. Row 9 brings us Danny Ricciardo having a very bad qualifying next to Kimi Raikkonen also having a bad qualifying session, and bringing up the rear, Lance Stroll for the Racing Point and Alexander Albon in the Toro Rosso. So a bit of a mixed up grid. Let's see how this goes. 42 laps of magic. Let's bring those guys off of auto straight away. We're going to go with watching Robert Kubica. As things have been going in practice, Kubica's been shockingly quick through Sector 1. He set purple sectors in all 3 quali sessions in Sector 1 and then lost it in Sectors 2 and 3. But it does mean he should be quite good off the line. As we're seeing, he's already up into 7th, and we'll hopefully see that continued improvement. If he can hold station through the back 2 sectors, then he can make up places in Sector 1, and we might see something special happen as he heads into 6th now. And hopefully we'll maintain it, although we're just coming to the end of the sector where he will start losing time. He needs to make this pass, make it stick, and make it happen fast. He's not quite done it. But can he get it out of this corner? Hopefully he can. Hopefully we'll see him make it. He's made it. It looks like it's stuck. And now he can go hunting down Pierre Gasly in 5th, and we need to get on the back of Gasly and Rahal as quickly as we possibly can. That's going to be the absolute key for us. Although we are going to drop a couple of positions by the end of the lap, we should get a fairly good idea of where we're looking. It's quite a long lap as well, this one. It's about a 1 minute 50 lap, which is pretty long. I think it's the longest lap of the season, or one of the longest laps of the season. Which is why we only have level 2 knowledge on everything, because you cannot get enough laps in practice to make it all the way up to level 3 and set the car up properly. You kind of have to either get the settings right first time and then just go for it, or just take the knowledge hit. There's no real either or. Alonso's dropping back awfully. He's just dropped back behind Danny Ricciardo, who's just taken the place back as well. Kubica though neck and neck with Charles Leclerc all the way through the lap, which is definitely promising. Knowing we can keep pace with a Ferrari around this track will be good long-term knowledge for the track. We've got to keep an eye on temps as well, because they are going to drop quite rapidly because the track is so cold. It might even become a 2-stop race purely because trying to keep the tyres in temp is going to mean we're going to have to push the tyres at some stage just to get them back up, which again gives us an interesting pit stop dynamic. It really does. And the guys at the back there must be really struggling with tyre temp. Really struggling as Kubica comes through the first lap in 6th, and we can hit him on the boost button, see what we can achieve, and then as soon as we have the option with Alonso on the boost, we'll hit the boost there. See if we can't bring our guys forward just a little bit. So Alonso apparently jumped 2 guys and found himself back into 15th, which is still not a stellar start. We're going to jump up into quicker time though, because you know time is of the essence. This battle is really raging between us and Leclerc, between Kubica and Leclerc, and he is starting, by the looks of things, to catch up on Pierre Gasly, which is going to make things very interesting, especially because we will have the need to start warming tyres and pushing a little bit. I don't know what they're doing in terms of pushes. Looks like Kubica is pushing on the Gasly is pushing on the engine rather than the tyres, which is interesting, very interesting. I might do the tyre push now, because I know I can stick him on a set of hards to the end if I need to. We can one-stop Kubica. I don't know if it's as fast, but we can one-stop Kubica if we need to. But let's try and get his tyre temps up. See if we can push away from Charles Leclerc a little bit, because that will help us immensely. And start closing that gap up to Gasly, who's definitely gone on something of a push now, because things are, things are opening up ahead of us. We'll change the strategy up to get past Danny Kvyat. Well, I guess we can give you the push as well. That's not impossible. It's not outside the realms of possibility. Tyre temps are back up. That's looking pretty good for Robert Kubica. He hasn't really closed the margins up, but we'll see what we can do when we get him onto a straight. I guess this is the closest we have to a straight. Can we push him up there? It's not looking spectacular, but we've pushed him up a little bit. And yeah, just a case of getting the temps into the temp into the tyres, because that ultimately is going to make all the difference for us. I've got to keep an eye on Kubica's tyre, where it's currently at 48%. Alonso's is at 67 as I speak. So yeah, just probably a lap or two between them in terms of ideal pit stops. We'll make it work. We'll make it work the way we always do. It looks like Alonso finally made it past Albon. Is he closing up on Grosjean as well? He is. I can probably push him through. That should hopefully have gained him something. It didn't. Didn't gain him anything really. But we'll make it work as best we can. That's what we'll do. We're going to drop Alonso's tyres back down to neutral. As we're defending from Charles. What's going on with this? He's going full blast on the engine. Interesting. It's weird because Kubica has settled down into 6th. He's not really catching Rahal a lot of the time. He's not really pulling away from Leclerc. He's got Leclerc within a second of him. Kubica complaining of worn tyres, which probably puts him within a couple of laps of the window. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how that goes, because we need to try and find a way. We are going to actually undercut Rahal because we've done the push on the tyres, which is going to be interesting. And we have to take that gamble on whether we make this a 1-stop or a 2-stop. Let's have a quick look, because the tyres are starting to go. 32 to go. The hard tyres will go 32. There is a 2-stop him argument, but is that the fastest way? I think it might be the fastest way to 2-stop him. We'll 2-stop Kubica, because I wasn't going to, and it kind of renders the medium tyre boost redundant a little bit. Let's risk a fast pit stop, because we don't really have a choice, and see how that shakes out for us. I think I'm going to stick with stopping Alonso for sure, maybe to the mediums rather than the hards, and see how that goes, because I think that's going to be very telling. I think he's going to need one less stop to get himself into the points, if I'm completely honest. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how this goes. We've come out slightly further behind than we'd like to. We'll give all the ARS boost to him. See if that can maybe help him through the field. He should catch Alonso back up, which is good. And making the early stop, either a huge mistake or really worthwhile gamble. We're going to find out, I think, as the race wears on. We are going to find out whether that was a good gamble or not. Track temp's going to drop again, which is slightly worrying. um, I don't know. I don't know what the play is here. Alonso's got the worn tyres. He's going to be a couple of laps off of his change. We'll see how that looks. We'll keep an eye on him. We're going to give him a push as well. Try and get him up ahead of someone. We've got him ahead of Grosjean and heading for the points, which is good. Like I said, we one stop Alonso, which is doable. Then we should, he says, hopefully, see a double points finish. But we need to get a higher points finish than the Red Bull team. That's going to be ultimately the goal. We're going to bring in Fernando Alonso now. What can he do? 27 on a set of mediums. I've got enough faith in him to get 27 out of those mediums. We'll add some charge. Quick strategy, sure, why not? The worst that can happen is we'll come out last, which we will go into anyway. We'll see what that does in terms of switching things around. Gasly has gone to a set of hards to the end, which is certainly an interesting strategy. We'll see how that goes. Give the push to Alonso. Grosjean's come up behind us, and it's going to be a hopeful game we're playing now, because one of our drivers is going to finish in the points. I've kind of got that feeling now. It's just a case of which of our drivers it will be. Now they're on the differing strategies. Although Kubica should be faster in theory. Obviously race is not won in theory, but in theory Kubica should be quicker. We're going to put him on a push actually, just because we can for a little while. See if that helps. We're not going to put Alonso on a push until we absolutely have to, because I'm very aware that we're marginal on his tyres. We are marginal on his tyres. But we'll see how that goes. We're going to move back to Kubica, because either way he is the next man to stop. He's finally got himself back in the low fuel delta. I probably could have taken one more lap of fuel out of his car if I'm honest, but I didn't, so that's life I guess. We'll give another push, try and get ourselves there past Kvyat. Good job. Tyres are coming up to temp. We're pushing on, which is excellent. Not really gapping Kvyat very well, but we're staying ahead, which is all good. Let's drop down to a neutral on the tyres before they overheat. Alonso's dropped to 20th, and I don't know how. I don't know why he's having such a bad race. It doesn't make sense to me. We'll give him a little push on the tyres. Not a lot of a push, we'll give him a little push on the tyres. Just try and get those temps back in. We'll give him a push on the ERS as well, just to see if we can get him back up to Raikkonen, which we've done successfully, which is good. We don't want to push these tyres for too long, too hard, but we'll try and push them just to get a little bit of temp back into the tyres, because that's going to be crucial come the end of the race. Alonso currently, we'll switch to Alonso temporarily actually, just to see what's going on here. Bit more of a boost maybe. Can probably risk putting him on high fuel mode as well, just to get him a little bit closer to Sergio Perez, because he should be able to get to him. You would think. He's definitely closing. Can he pass him? That's the big question. You'd hope so, but you know, again, this is theory rather than practice, so we'll see how this all shakes out. Tyres should be more or less in working range as Alonso looks for a pass. He messes it up and gets passed by Raikkonen, and now he's got a lot of work on. We'll drop the fuel back, otherwise we'll never reclaim the deficit. Got to keep pushing those tyres till they get to the red zone. That's going to be the key to this whole strategy. The whole strategy is going to rely on us making it there. We'll go neutral with the tyres now to start dropping them back down. Switch to Kubica because he's heading for that window where he needs to start thinking about making a stop. I'm starting to be dubious as to whether we're going to get Alonso into the window, if I'm honest. It could go either way. It could really go either way. We're going to bring in Kubica now. What's that, 17 remaining? Um, it's a risk. It's a risky one. We're going to go full charge again. Why not? And hopefully we'd get a mistake-free pit stop. And this should bring us into some kind of fighting range. We should have the fastest car on the track, or the fastest tyres on the track at the very least, as we bring him in. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Mistake-free pit stop would be beautiful. It is a 1.7. Let's get out in front of Alonso. And we're back in the hunt, back in the fight. Let's go fully RS and try and get ourselves back up towards those points again. Because we have the ARS to burn, we may as well burn it. Let's get through, get the job done. Behind Ricciardo, we need to get ourselves through him. Which, you know, we should be able to. We should be able to. The mediums are holding temp actually better than the softs are, which is curious. Ricciardo and Albon and Kvyat and Sainz are going to have to pit, so we should get ourselves back into the top 10 for at least a points haul, if nothing else. We'll see how that shakes out. Looks like Sainz managed to get out ahead of us, which is a worry. He has gone the one-stop strategy, and we are going to see Ricciardo come in, and presumably Albon as well. You would think Albon must be either coming in or thinking about coming in into the pits. What's that going to bring us out at? 11th. Alright, that didn't work, Chief. Didn't work. We'll try and make it work. Albon's going to come in now, so we'll see how this all shakes out. In due course, we're going to put Kubica on to a automatic ERS. We're going to turn up his engine, see if we can start pushing on. I'm going to do the same with Alonso shortly as well, and hopefully this is where we'll start to see some gains. Hopefully. I need to just check the tyres of Alonso. 11 laps left. Alonso's going to have to conserve his tyres for a couple of laps to make it home. I mean, he'll make it home, but making it all the way is going to be difficult. And there is an argument where he's so far down the order that maybe I can switch into a set of softs and we can push them. Is that the smart play? That's the question. Is that the smart play? Kubica is sitting in the points quite nicely. I think we will. I think we're going to go full attack on Alonso. Just go full attack. Just burn out the tyres entirely. We're going to turn his fuel up to high. Give him control of his ERS. And yeah, see what we can do in terms of minimising the time we need for a pit stop. That's going to be the thing here. Alonso set his personal best lap of a 150, which is honestly shameful. Honestly is a shameful lap. We'll push the tyres again for Kubica. 8 laps to go. He should just make that. I'm going to bring Alonso in. I'm going to switch him onto a set of the soft tyres. We're going to keep him on just full tyre burning push. We're going to absolutely hope for the best on this one. We're just going to cane out a push. Mistake free again would be ideal. We've done another 1.7. He's dropped to 18th. We've got him out on track and he's pushing, and now we can really see what this car has to offer. Hopefully something good, but we'll see in the long term. There might be a few cars ahead of us that need to pit again with Kubica too, so maybe I've put us in a good position. Maybe I've taken an unnecessary gamble. There is an argument where I could potentially have just put Alonso on hard tyres at the first stop and we'd have found a way through everyone else, but you live and learn. I think Red Bull are going to be unassailable. I'm surprised we've had no accidents. I think it's the first race where no one's crashed out yet. I don't know why you've gone to hybrid mode, buddy. That's not helpful at all. If I can't trust you to look after your stuff, then you won't get stuff. Check the condition before I do that, but I don't think it's going to affect anything too much. This might actually be for the... He may have played this quite well, because he's forced me to burn fuel for him now. He's forced me to turn up his fuel options. Let's put that on medium. See what we can do. Alonso pushing, should get through 3 laps, surely he should do. I thought what little difference it's going to make because he is currently just chasing pavement. Let's have a little look, see where we're at with Alonso, because Kubica's just kind of settled into 10th. He's hoping people ahead of him make pit stops to gain places at this point, although so is Alonso, to be perfectly honest. He might pass Lance Stroll. It's not impossible. He has passed Lance Stroll. I don't know if he's going to get himself near the points, though. I don't know if he's going to get himself near enough for the points to be able to make it work. And I am starting to regret now having to make that second pit stop with him, because one stop was definitely the quickest play here. A one stop onto hards would definitely have been the better play. But you live and you learn. On the final lap, we're just going to put him into overtake. Full attack overtake for both boys. Why not? There's nothing to lose. Almost nothing to gain. Kubica might lose a spot coming across the line, which is going to be troublesome. Let's give him a push from ERS. He did just make it home, and he didn't make it. He didn't make it home in 10th. I thought we were on the last lap. Oh no! I've killed this race. I've killed both guys' races. Oh, it said last lap. I thought we were all on the last lap. My brain wasn't in. What did I do? What have I done? Oh. We've done so well strat-wise until now. So well strat-wise. I'm going to get rid of that. Awkward. Such a good job strat-wise until that. Really no words for how badly we've messed that up. Oh. Well, that is not the best race I've ever had. At least we didn't lose 4th in the constructors. May have affected the drivers a little bit. We didn't lose 4th in the constructors. Red Bull have definitely managed to gap us. Just all round shocking performances. All round shocking. I feel bad for not being able to help Kubica convert it, and we get the final championship standings. Gasly finishes ahead of Alonso, which is entirely my fault. Hold my hands up, entirely my fault. And Kubica stays in 10th, and the Constructors' Championship, you can see there that at least we held off Renault. We did finish 4th. And, yeah, that was a thing. Right, I was going to do it as a separate episode, but you know what? I'm thinking instead what we might do is we'll do the end of season stuff now. So, for those of you who wonder why the video has gone long, this is why. This is why we're going to go through the end of the season stuff and see what kind of car we end up with next season. We're also going to end up with sponsors to play with for next season. Yeah. See where we end up. See where we end up in terms of everything. We should have enough money to play with to be able to do something really good with the chassis design. Everything else in terms of new parts that we design that come in will be luck of the draw what we can get to a good developed stage in time for the crossover. Robert Kubica has developed a trait, dodgy neck. Well, it was dodgy driving, son, so you'll get over it. We still finished 8th, which is not too bad. Hopefully with new sponsors we'll be able to actually have Lance Stroll in the car. Sorry, not Lance Stroll. Why am I saying Lance Stroll? George Russell in the car alongside Alonso next year. I think that's the better team in terms of developing beyond this. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what promotions and relegations happened. Confirmation that Lewis has got his 6th World Championship. 12 race wins is just dirty. The team's championship, of course, won by Merck as well. And yeah, we'll get through the end of season before next season gubbins. so that we'll know where we stand next Sunday when we go to Australia again, presumably. I don't think I've seen any calendar changes announced, so we're going to assume we're going to Australia. We're going to hope we're going to Australia. um, and we'll see how that ends up. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the mail quick first. Let's interview with Autosport. We will. We'll say he's an interesting driver. Why not? He's not someone I would look at signing, but we'll say nice things about him. Pit crew review. We're 0.026 seconds slower than our season record. Well, that's gutting. You've got neck issues. It's been in the last 3 weeks, and that's going to be till the end of the season. That's fine. Petrov will be a local. Yep, knew that. Before I forget, let's just check that our pit crew aren't in danger of contracts expiring, because in fact let's just renew the contracts. Let's just renew everyone's contracts while we think about it, because that way we don't run the risk of losing anyone that we need to be here next season. That's going to be the ideal thing for us. Costs us nothing to renew them. It does at least keep the team going. We've got the fastest pit stops on the grid by quite some distance. It's definitely helped us this season having quick pit stops, so that's definitely a benefit. Obviously, just being able to renew these contracts, he's got a full contract anyway. Good boy. Right, that's sorted that out. Go to the scouting part. I don't think we need to hire anyone, do we? Should have that first, really. There's no one there who's better than what we have. Right, let's go. Sponsors should have expired now, right? Yeah, we've got just Panasonic left on the car, which is good. Car repair complete, which is fine. Get rid of that message, and yeah, see what is happening in terms of championship prize money and promotion. Let's look at the prize money first. What are we going to get? £59.5 million. Well, that'll do. We have won manager of the season. Driver of the season is Pierre Gasly. Good work. Excellent. We should get the promotion relegation thing. So rules have been changed. They've removed, of course, we removed the Black Sea Grand Prix. So it's a 20 race season next season, which is worrisome. I didn't see anything about promotion or relegation, which is somewhat unusual. Skip that. Skip that rapidly. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to save the game. Saving the game is always a good move. We'll see just what shakes out as we go. I presume there is promotion relegation on. I didn't look. I think F2 was won by ART off the top of my head, so I guess that we'll figure that out in a second. But first, because we shouldn't have a full suite of sponsors just yet, we have in most positions. Okay, let's see what we get. 26 races, Mahindra. So that's a million up front. Fixed of 10 per race, 60 to 160,000. It's gotta be that one, right? We'll take Mahindra. Why not? We'll stick Mahindra on the side of the car. That will definitely give us some kind of boost. This one we will let that keep going. See what other offers come in. We've got offers from BMW, Johnny Walker, and Napa. And again, I think it's going to be BMW because those offers otherwise are pretty awful. So we'll take the BMW offer. That's going to work out well. Fixed payment sponsors. Those are always the good ones. Petronas are of course a big money 2-season sponsorship deal, which would give us $250 up front, 50 per race. I don't really want anything with a qualifying bonus. Yeah, let's take it. Let's take that one. That should mitigate some of our losses. And just see what's coming there so far. Infinity and Kaspersky, neither of which is a particularly great offer. but you know, that will develop. Who was the new driver? Was it Yuri Vips? Yuri Vips is not going to drive for us. Right, let's respond to the mail. Design next year's car, see what we want out of it. We've got, well, another 20 million to spend, so 94.5 million to spend on the car. We can just go for the best of everything. So engine supplier, I guess we're going with Renault next year. Although no, we'll stick with Merc. I didn't see Merc as an option there. We'll stick with Merc. Why would we not? So we'll stick with Merc for the engine. For fuel, I guess we've just been sponsored by Petronas, so we've got to take the Petronas offer. That makes all the sense in the world to me. In terms of material supplier, I guess we'll take things from Merc because it makes sense. Brake supply, well, it's going to be, it's going to be Pirelli, because why wouldn't it be? We can afford to spend the money, so why wouldn't we? And then in terms of battery supplier, starting charge 90, harvest efficiency 81, 91. Yeah, that's the best one there. We'll take it. I'm sure Mercedes won't be unhappy that we haven't taken their part. That is job done. That's the best kind of base we can build, and it's cost us almost nothing in the grand scheme of things, which is magical. Just thinking we might be able to do a HQ upgrade. Let's just have a quick look at the car, the HQ. What HQ upgrades do we have available to us to upgrade buildings? We'll wait till we get to the end of this, because if the money is there and we're looking like making ourselves a profit, then I will spend the money on those parts, because we're still not making fully massive income from races. Right, what have we got in terms of mail? We're going to Aston Martin have picked up Rene Rast. I don't know anything about Rene Rast. 33 years old. Okay. Well, we'll have a look at see how good he is. I suspect not very. Pietro Fittipaldi has joined Haas. Who's he replaced at Haas? Himself? I don't understand. I don't understand what just happened there. Scout report, Marino Sato would become one of the weakest drivers. Good, okay. Ferrari have opened a test track. Aberdeen would be low quality. Scouting report on Diat, yeah. Yeah, we can afford it, let's do it. Let's do that magic. Right, where are we at in terms of sponsors? Have we got full offers on this one? We have... I think this is the best fixed pay for races, off the top of my head, because the upfront's not great, but we can replace them. We'll go with total. That will work. That's going to help damage control, and then we've got 3 offers here. 200 up front, 10k per race, 200 there. Nothing up front. Yeah, Infinity are the best offer there. That's definitely going to help us. We are effectively making money, which is not a big problem for us, so let's just carry on. Get ourselves through to the next part of the pre-season and see where we end up. Press HQ visit, why wouldn't we do that? It'd be mad not to do that. Right, report finished. We're going to finish, they think he'll finish 6th. Rene Rast. He's alright. Nothing special, but he's alright. Press HQ visit. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Right. Upgraded forecasting. Well, sure. Sure, buddy. Oh, is that something we've just finished? We have just finished our forecasting centre. We can't upgrade that anymore, I think. So that's good. We are almost certainly able to make some kind of HQ upgrades, which is absolutely beautiful. We'll see how that goes. Right, we're heading into February now. What's the mail, the good lord of mail bringing us for February? Adapt parts now. Okay. I guess we'll adapt parts now. Livery edit, we're not going to change livery. A unique opportunity. What opportunity is this? We're going to... we don't need extra marketability, so we're just going to leave that. That's a good plan. We don't need to be throwing shade at other teams. I'm not even going to change the livery, to be honest, because I quite like it. Well, I say I quite like it. It's gone fully weird grey. When I quite like it to be, you know, Williams-ish blue. Which I guess is somewhere here. If I can find Williams-ish blue, there-ish will do. In fact, Williams have gone weirdly toothpastey blue, haven't they? They've gone toothpastey blue now, so let's go for a regular old-fashioned blue. Which must be there-ish, yep. Done. Tertiary colour, we'll go with the toothpastey red. Why not? And we'll build our car around that. So what have we got options-wise? Maybe that? That's not hideous. You can't see the sponsors, but that's not my problem. We'll go with that. Why not? Why not? That's not the worst looking thing I've ever designed. So that's all the reason I need to design it. It's not the worst looking thing I've designed. That's right, we're into pre-season testing now. Which should see things going fairly nicely. We've got mail. Mail says pre-season testing this weekend. Cheers, boys. Already got that one. New card design completed. Pre-season testing. Pre-season testing. Okay, let's do it. Let's see how our car shakes up in pre-season testing. Ideally, somewhere near the top would be great, but, you know, counting chickens and whatnot. Looks like the best we've managed is 15th. We've had an oil leak, and our engine is not delivering full power, which is not the one. Not the one at all. Okay, that's gone badly, I'd say. I'd say badly is the way that's gone. We'll see where we stack up in a second in terms of the rest of the grid. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where that puts us. Right, we'll see what we're saying in the mail. Aston Martin Red Bull lead the way in pre-season. We have not done well. Targets, I'm going to go with the lowest possible targets because that's just smart. Frankly, it's just smart. Are we able to actually work on the car now? We are able to work on the car. Excellent. Okay. So, first things first, we need to get all of our worst parts improved as rapidly as we can, or our least reliable parts improved as rapidly as we can. So that should look a bit like that. And that should hopefully get to usable by Sydney. We'll hope for the best. Actually, not the worst selection of parts. Where are we in terms of the grid overall? We are 8th best on the grid. We are sitting behind in terms of almost everything. I'm going to build a new engine, I think, whilst I'm thinking about it, because that's going to become quite crucial. We're 25 to max to start off with. Because it's too early to start playing with risky parts, so we'll just try and improve what we have as best we can. Right, let's go forward, get ourselves to the race weekend, and see how things look. Hopefully pretty okay, if I'm honest. Hopefully. Let's look at the mail, see what the mail is saying. Upcoming. Oh, Jan Lammers is retiring. He's only been around for 100 years. Well, apparently Haas are going to do well this weekend. That's worrying. And pre-race gossip for Sydney looks good. I am actually going to take the gamble, I think, and because 47 million, half a million losses over 20 races is 10 million lost, which gives us enough money, quick math, to upgrade both of these. Which would mean we can then open the theme park and make even more money. which is disgusting stuff. Um, disgusting stuff. We need the money, but we'll make it work. And hopefully we've got enough money left in the bank to be able to make things work. And this brings us to the start of the new season. So, yeah, until next time, guys. I've been Chasing Lamely. Thanks for watching, and we'll come back for Sydney next time. Have a good one.